Hello and welcome to the Performance Racing League Premier Tier. My name is Sheriff Shaft. With me today is Tambar. How are you doing today, Tambar?
I'm doing absolutely great.
How are you feeling about this one? Round 18, Singapore. We got the cream of the crop Premier Tier. Are you expecting big things?
I'm expecting big things, and I'm expecting cars in the walls.
Cars in the walls.
And cars over the finish line with extremely good times.
Very much so, yes. We should be expecting some incredible pace. We have already seen, whilst we were getting ourselves set up, that Adri, who some people were predicting to be an early favourite for this race, setting a 1:34.8, which is a ridiculous time, if you ask me.
Yeah, that's probably better than most of the guys watching this time trial, so...
Yes, and that is going to be...
grinding, boys.
Yeah, that is a time that is going to be very, very hard to beat. We've got 11 minutes left, so we should expect these times to come dropping down relatively soon. But looking ahead, do you have any early favourites alongside Adri? What sort of drivers do you expect to see near the front by the end of qualifying?
Well, I feel like top 5 is pretty much what we will end up with at the end of the qualifying session, as they are probably the 5 best drivers on this grid. But we may see some wild cards, maybe Oscar, who knows fast from Tier 1, and maybe Grack, he says he loves the track.
Yeah.
And
definitely. It is worth noting that we have got a few Tier 1 reserves in today. Oscar in the Ferrari, Grack in the Red Bull, Darluto in the Mercedes, and Mo Power in the Alpha Tauri. They are your reserves today, filling in for some absences. I think you're right. Oscar definitely is someone who, on his day, can challenge even the best in Premier Tier with his one-lap pace. So, yeah, definitely would be nice to see him near the top.
And maybe we know Caplot is fast as well, but he is probably waiting to the end to go for a medium run. If we judge that by the practice race yesterday, and we may see some other drivers going for the mediums as well. Like, I reckon the guys that haven't set the best times.
Definitely. Also worth noting at this point, just had some exclusive news from our weatherman down at the track that we are expecting a bit of rain at the start of the race, which is very interesting. Singapore is famously one of, if not the hardest track in this calendar in the rain, so a great opportunity to test your skills. It also does mean that in terms of tyre strategy, if these guys know that they're going to be starting on the intermediate or the wet tyres, they don't need to try and put in a medium lap time. This is a straight shootout. Who can put in the best time on those soft tyres?
Well, that makes sense. That's why Adri is just absolutely smashing it at the moment, because he knows softs is going to be the tire to qualifying.
Yes.
And we may see, as it rains, we may see some drivers that aren't usually in the top 5 maybe do a bit better than usual.
Definitely.
Like T-Mike, for example.
Very much so. The rain is always the opportunity for the grid to kind of mess up and be a bit chaotic, which we always like to see. We are going to jump on board now, about 7.5 minutes to go. Just jumping on board with Bass. I never know how to pronounce his name. Just coming through on his quali lap now. Currently sitting in P2. A bit of traffic, which he's going to need to kind of get round, but he has improved on his first sector. Oh, right on the edge there.
Yeah.
Just keeping it through. Singapore is one of those deceptive tracks where you assume, as it's a street track, that the walls will be the track limits, but nope. For some reason, they've moved the track limits within inside the walls, so there are some corners which you can easily get your lap removed, even though you don't touch the wall. But yeah, but Bass is keeping it pretty clean so far. He was up at the end of Sector 1, and he is still up. He has lost a tenth through Sector 2, but he is improving.
Yeah, he has a Haas on the hot lap ahead of him, so he's not gonna move.
No.
And that may be problematic for Bass.
Yes, and he's within the dirty air now, which is not going to do him any good at all. He's going to be feeling that oversteer. But he's kept it clean as he comes through the final corner. He will improve, which has given him a bit of clean air from Jer in P3, but still 6/10 off of Adri, who has, whilst we've been talking through Bass, I've just noticed has improved by 2/10. The man is a lunatic.
I feel like if someone just doesn't put in like a Ferrari engine from back in the day, they will probably end up behind them in disqualifying. But
yes. Just
you
also
never
worth
know.
noting, Fruitful, sorry, just to cut you off there, Fruitful coming around the corner now will be improving a lot, I believe. Yes, he does improve a lot. Moves into P3 with 135.2. Sorry, carry on there, Timber.
Yeah, and the chair is also improving. I think he's in Sector 2 now.
He
He's
is
up by
indeed.
2/10 in Sector 1. So I guess we'll see him probably down in the 34s, as he is one of the quickest guys, both in qualifying and the race.
It's McLaren have had a very good year this year. It's safe to say in Tier 1 as well, but particularly with Premier, with Jet and Fruitful consistently being up the top there. They've just been bringing in points after points after points every week, and so far, Singapore does not look like it's going to be bucking that trend.
No, it's not.
Jer coming round, penultimate corner. This is looking good. He's going to need to pull out at least a couple of tenths if he's going to move up to P2. He does. Improves by 4/10. That is a fantastic lap. I mean,
Still 4/10 off.
it's still 4/10. I might be eating my words here, but I feel comfortable in saying that I don't know if anyone can beat that pace from Adri. That is quite spectacular qualifying pace.
Yeah, it's beyond good. Let's be real.
Yeah. We've talked about it before, but maybe we really do need to bring in a new tier just for Adri.
Yeah.
He is a class above.
And I think he has 4 wins this season, but he's still 5th in the championship. So it kind of shows when he is driving, he delivers, and when he is driving, people are catching up.
Definitely. Currently on board with Grack filling in for Red Bull today, currently in P8, and he is not improving. He's 1.5 seconds down, interestingly, so we will leave him for now.
Maybe a Austin lap. And Steinman is on lap.
I think Steinmine finished his lap. I don't know. Let's have a look at his telemetry. Oh no, he is improving. Yeah, he's gone up Sector 1 by a little bit. He has the potential to move up. He's going to need to improve by a good 4/10 if he's going to break into that P5. T-Mike with a great lap as well, currently sitting 135.5 in 5th position. Interesting, we still haven't got a lap from Darluto or Sir Capelot. Not sure why. I think, actually, looking at it, looks like Capelot has just started his lap, so we'll jump on board with him now. The only Premier permanent member to not set a lap so far in the Williams. Yes, good job. Capelot coming through. Capelot, very good pace, currently in 7th position, I want to say, in the standing, 7th or 8th position. So definitely someone that we can easily see, if he puts in a good lap, in the top 10, potentially challenging for the top 5.
And Steinman improves by 5 tenths up into P5.
Yeah, someone moves up to the 135.4. So currently it looks like we've only got Boaz, Mo Power and Capelot on a lap. Matty Player just starting his lap as well. So a lot of drivers on their outlaps preparing for the final qualifying lap.
Yeah.
As Capelot comes through now. Time looks decent. This lap looks very clean from Capelot. He'll be... Oh, and just as I said that, he cuts the corner, invalidates his lap, and with 1 minute 30 seconds to go, he's going to need to recuperate some of that ERS and go again. Grack has gone. Capelot moving out of the way for McLaren. Let's have a look. We're now on board with Adri. He somehow, the machine himself, has gone green. Has gone purple, I should say, in Sector 1. As he comes through into Sector 2, the really tight left-rights coming over the bridge now. Super easy to lose the back end here. It's just so clean. He is a real machine as he's coming through now to the end of Sector 2. And he is exactly equal with his best lap. Just going to show you, it wasn't a fluke. This is the pace of the man on these soft tyres. I think his competition is going to be very happy to be starting on the wet, as it might give them some chance of keeping up with him. Oh, goes a little bit deep there, going underneath the bridge. As he comes through the penultimate corner, I think he would have lost a little bit of time there. Good penultimate corner though, and he throws it into the final corner. He keeps it on track. Is he going to improve? He doesn't know. I think he lost a lot of time under the bridge. Yeah, still. That is a very good point. Still would have been enough for Bowl.
Yeah,
let's have a look.
Is finished. He invalidated his last lap, so he will stay where he is.
Yes, Calcis crosses the line, moves up to 8th position. Let's have a look who is next. Capelot, I believe, is next. Oh, no, it is. Yes, Fruitful will be next. Fruitful followed by Capelot. Fruitful coming under the bridge, coming around the penultimate corner. As he comes through, I don't think he will be improving. Oh, and he goes wide and crashes. Capelot is able to finish his lap and moves up to P10. Oof, that was a nervy time. Let's have a look. Baz does improve, but he had invalidated this time, so it doesn't count.
Yeah.
Boaz is pitting. Doug Trio looks like he's improving on his lap, and he will move into stays P15th. We've now got Weird coming through. These are the final laps of these guys with qualifying finishing. Moves up to 14th. The Hard of Team Mike stays where he is. Oscar stays where he is as well. Who have we got left? Trying to keep track of these guys. Cali Rob is next to come through. Cali Rob does not improve.
And I think
Matty Player has crashed. Coming through there. Jer coming through now. Oh, and he crashes as well. He improves.
He improves, yeah.
But he... it's the most dramatic end ever. Who else have we got? The Haas. Bronco improves. And that is everyone. There's been a lot of flicking through the grid there, trying to keep track of everyone. But I don't think... Well, it's the end of that. After a very clean qualifying, we had, what was that, 2 or 3 crashes in the final corner? People throwing it in a bit too heavy.
Yeah. I guess we'll see more of that in the race.
Yeah. Yes, I mean, at this point, I would normally be asking you, who do you have as the favourites to win the race? But I'm going to throw you a curveball now, Tamba. Oh. Who do you have as our first DNF today?
I feel like there's got to be someone in the middle of the pack, you know. It's got to be like I feel like it's got to be Grack.
You
I
going
feel
for
like it's
Grack?
gonna end up with something, something gonna be smashed into a car or something, and then yeah.
We'll keep an eye on Greg then for the start. But just to quickly run through your top 10 today, we've got Adri in pole position, absolutely stonking session from him. Jer in P2, Bassin P3, Fruitful P4, Steinmine P5, T-Mike P6, Calirod P7, Kalsis P8, Dace P9, and just in the nick of time, Sir Capelot moves into P10 with Greg, the one we'll be keeping an eye on, in
Yeah.
P11. So, yes, great qualifying for the Dutch in P2, 4, and 5. They'll be
Yeah.
hoping for potentially a winner today, as
Yeah.
there is the predicted rain. Doesn't look too heavy. Feels like it's going to be intermediates for the guys.
Yeah, it's. I feel like it's you don't get like full wet on this track. It's too
Mm,
hot to have that kind of weather.
yes, that is a good
Uh,
point. I don't think I've ever done full wets here, as looks like someone has started up a little bit early, so the guys will not be getting their normal 2 minutes to set up their strategy. They will
that's
only
not
be
good,
getting, no, that is not good. They'll only be getting about 45 seconds. So,
especially with the rain.
mm,
That's probably a big penalty for the guy responsible.
yes, I'm
We'll see you in
sure.
court, mates.
We'll see you in the steward reports, mate. Let's have a
Yeah.
look. So,
Okay, then.
we should get our formation lap starting any second now.
So, Shara, I think I have a question for you. Do you think we have any tactical spinners in the formation lap?
Tactical
Yes.
spinners.
So, like when you spin and end of the back of the grid to have warmer tires?
I don't know if anyone would venture into doing that. I mean,
You
it's an
know,
interesting suggestion. I'd like to
they
say no.
may be desperate to have warmer tires than Adrian just.
I think if we do see that, we'll probably see it towards the end of the lap if someone realizes they have not been able to warm their tires in time and then they
Yeah.
just give it up. So we'll have a look. We'll keep our eyes on the players' names. We'll see if any of the names go transparent. Because that is an interesting thing to suggest as the guys come through the start of the grid. What we'll also do for the start time buff, you want to keep an eye on towards the back of the grid, maybe, just to keep an eye
Yeah,
on any potential incidents.
keep an eye on the slower Red Bull.
Well, yeah, there's with Singapore being as chaotic as it can be, it can often cause the incidents to pile up.
Oh, there's a Ferrari just standing still.
Is a Ferrari just standing still? Are we looking at that being Oscar or Doug
I
Trio?
think it's the trio, but I think he overtook someone and then just let him by. No, wait, he's second to last. Hmm.
Might have had a spin there.
Tactical.
It will be interesting to see as well when these guys move on to the slick
Oh,
tyres.
Rusty has crashed on the formation lap.
Rusty has crashed.
And,
Well, I mean, he was going to be towards the back of the grid anyway, considering he's in P19. So I don't think we can put that one down to a tactical
nah, but
crash.
he didn't spin. He just drove into the wall.
Oh,
Was a bit weird.
interesting. That
Yeah.
does sound weird, as these guys are doing everything to warm up these intermediate tyres.
To be fair, it doesn't look like it's wet at all. Some places on the track.
Hmm. Yeah, you're right. Some parts of the track look quite wet. Some of them look almost bone dry. This
Yeah.
coming up to the final corner here, I cannot see any wet parts of the track at all. So
Yes.
it is still raining, but yeah, I don't think it will be too long by the look of it before these guys will be pitting for some slicks, which does beg the question whether these guys will try and push it out for a one stop or whether they might be forced into a two stop.
Yeah.
As we see these drivers now pulling into the back of the grid.
I think I would just gamble on the mediums, to be honest, if you because I feel like there's going to be a safety car anyway. So
Interesting strategy. Yes,
he
as the drivers are now queued up, ready to go. Doug Trier left the session. He'll be wanting to jump back in as quickly as he can. Drivers on the grid. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lights are out, and away we go. Premier Tier round 18 here in Singapore. It's a great start from Jer. He moves alongside and overtakes Adri as he comes to the first corner. Adri tries to fight back and he goes slightly off the track, which means that Jer will be able to keep that first place. Adri still trying to keep fighting, but he is now going to be under pressure from Bass, who's coming through on the outside. A bit of contact between Jer and Adri, but the two of them manage to keep it clean as they go 3 wide through turn 5. But again, they keep it clean, and looks like we've had a clean start. Tambar, anything from the back of the grid?
Nothing major at least. I haven't seen any front wings yet. So,
yeah, it looks all clean so far. We've got the positional changes on the screen for you watching at home, as there's a bit of contact as they come through into sector 2. It's so tight here and they're trying to go too wide. Jer now looking pretty clear, and Adri falling back into 4th position. Fruitful is trying to come around the outside. Adri should have the inside and should have this clean. He does and stays in 3rd position, but not the best start for the Red Bull.
Crash. That's weird.
And that's Matty Player, and that is a virtual safety car.
The thing is, I wanted to say weird, but I didn't. I said big crash. But I feel like weird DNF's left as well. But well,
at this point now, anyway. I feel like after predicting Grak to crash and he hasn't, we kind of need to hope that he finishes quite well. Yeah. After betting against him, we need to bet for him.
Hope you don't see this stream.
Yes, fingers crossed. And that virtual safety car has turned into a full safety car as well, interestingly.
Good for Matty Player, at least.
It is good for Matty Player. He will need to pit for a new front wing. But
the thing is, he may go on slick tires.
You think he's... Oh, that's a very good point. Is anyone going to pit?
Because
Jer not pitting, Bass not pitting.
Yeah, Adri's pitting, I think.
He might have had damage though.
Oh,
interesting. No, he is not pitting.
No one's pitting. What?
No, and Adri's just overtaken. Rusty's pitting. Adri's just overtaken Bass under safety car.
I thought he drove into the pit because he was beside him, and I thought,
that is not great from Adri. I'm not sure what happened there.
Matty's on the mediums.
Matty's on the mediums. Let's have a look at the tyres to keep an eye on that. Yes, Rusty and Matty moving on to the mediums. A fair enough gamble you would probably make at this point. We're likely to have a couple more laps under safety car, so...
Yeah, and then I don't think you will lose 20 seconds before it gets dry enough, so...
Yeah, you may as well make a gamble at this point. I think... the problem is, with this game, if there was some sort of glitch telling Adri to pass Bass, then Bass is not able to pass him back. So I imagine that one will be going to the stewards. But, Tamba, if you want to just take us through the top 10 coming into halfway through lap 3 for us. Yeah,
so we got Jer overtaking Adri at the start in P1 now, and Adri in P2. Then we got Bass, Fruitful, and Steinmine completing the top 5 as we expected at the start of qualifying. We got Calirob moving up a lot of position, I believe. He has moved up. Oh, he's moved 1 position. And T-Mike in 7th, Dace in 8th, Cassis in 9th, and Grek has already moved up 1 position in 10th, and Caplot then in 11th, moving down 1 position.
Yes, it's... I mean, I have to say, I know we're in a safety car right now, but that start was not as chaotic as I would have predicted it would have been.
People may be a bit cautious at the start.
It's also, I'm just going to have a quick check Yes, is worth noting, I think. Yes, we have got Doug Trio currently as an AI. I think he has left the session and hasn't been able to rejoin, so just worth noting, unfortunately for the Red Bulls, they just have, although they have two cars in the race, realistically they just have the one now with Oscar, who is filling in from Tier 1. So they will be hoping Oscar can make up some positions, get some points back for the Tifosi.
Yeah, and I can maybe try and invite the trio if he... Oh, no point inviting me back.
Yeah, I think he's been having some internet issues, so I do not think we'll be seeing him again today, unfortunately for him, as Rusty
Oh,
has retired.
DNF.
Interestingly as well, Matty Player has gone back onto the intermediates, so clearly we are quite far from dry weather racing. Maybe he felt like he had just not enough, nowhere near enough grip.
Yeah, maybe.
Which
Well,
is very good to know, because it does mean that even with safety car, you can probably expect at least another 5 or 6 laps before we get close to it, if it's that bad of a surface. So,
yeah, it's probably pretty slippery.
which means that, yeah, these drivers are probably going to just do a one-stop then, if we're going to be looking at getting into around halfway into the race before it gets dry. These drivers will most likely be able to comfortably get onto either the mediums or hards to the end of the race when that time comes.
Yeah, and...
That pit stop does also mean for Matty Player that the safety car will probably go around one more time, giving him a chance to catch up with the rest of the pack.
Yeah, which is not the greatest for us in the booth.
No.
But we'll,
I wonder what happens if the back car on the grid just doesn't catch up. How many laps would the safety car do before the game would just auto force a restart?
gotta be... I don't think it does more than 4 laps. I think that's the max
No, the max.
laps, and then in that...
Oh, Oscar has pitted for the softs.
Well,
Well,
that's
that
strategy.
that is classic Ferrari strategy. I have no idea what that is all about.
Why does he pit on softs?
I have no idea.
Softs are gonna die after like 5 laps, so you gotta pit anyway. Why
Exactly.
would you go on softs?
I have no idea.
Well.
Let's have a look. We'll jump on board with him and see what his grip level looks like.
And just...
He comes through. Let's see his braking in this corner. Oh, it looks not too bad. Oh,
Let's see.
it doesn't look horrendous. I will say that much.
This may be a wetter part of the circuit.
That is interesting. Well, if anyone has got the live stream on in the background as they are racing, just worth noting, Oscar is pitted for the softs, and looks like he has a decent amount of grip, so I don't know if it will be too much longer, based on that, until it is time to pit.
And maybe you should just ask Jeff, and he will give you a very precise answer when the rail will stop. He'll just tell you that the Intros is the best tire at that moment. Never know with Jeff. Jeff is...
However, it is worth noting that Jeff, a lot of the time, does not tell you until the moment it becomes time for slicks.
Yeah.
Which is incredibly frustrating. It looks like safety car is in this lap as Jer is, yes, bunching everyone up. Okay, safety car is in this lap. Jer bunching everyone as he comes through to the final corner. He's probably going to leave it as late as he can to try not to get overtaken on the straight.
Jer is very late. starter.
He's leaving it very, very late. And there he goes. Jer goes. Adri moving alongside. Sorry, Bass trying to go move alongside. But Jer is clear in P1, Adri P2, Bass in P3, Steinmine and Fruitful having a fight. Steinmine coming through into P4. They go side by side again as he comes through into turn 4.
My God.
Steinmine has got the inside, but Fruitful fighting back. And Fruitful will keep the position. Good grip around the outside there from Fruitful.
Oh, Calirob's trying.
As we see Callirob, yeah, going down the inside of Steinmine. Will he be the last of the late breakers? He is, but unfortunately he's now going to be around the outside. And, oh, it's so close side by side through this section, one of the narrowest parts of the track. But Callirob is able to keep it going. And it looks like...
Flag. That is Oscar, I think. Oh, wait.
Oh, no idea what's going on there. A bunch of cars towards the back.
I'll see if there are any damage. You just lost your front.
Yes. I'll keep an eye on the front of the grid as you're having a look there. As it looks like the front four, Jer, Adri, Bass and Fruitful, just building a bit of a gap from Callirob and P5 in the Alpine. These drivers now just starting to separate out. We'll keep an eye on near the middle of the pack as well, as we have Kaus's Grak and Capelot. Capelot having an eye down the inside of Grak. Unlikely to get a move done around this part of the track as it stands very narrow, especially with the intermediate tyres. In the wet track, it's not going to have a huge amount of grip. Gratkin is super close there to the Williams in front of him.
Yeah, I think just the trio, or I think Oscar had a spin, and then everyone just stopped.
Fortunate for him, it is worth... Oh, as people are coming into the pits now, we've got Adri, Bass, we've got Capelot. No, we've not got Capelot. We've got Kalsis, we've got T-Mike, we've got Steinmine, Darluto, Bronco. We've got Matty Player. We've got a lot of people coming on the slicks now. Oscar might have absolutely smashed this. If only he hadn't gone on the softs. Oh my god, if he was on the hards or the mediums, this would have been a stroke of genius.
Would have been the Ferrari master plan. You just blew it.
Now, the point to note as we'll keep an eye on Jer.
Yeah.
Will he lose many positions?
Looks like Oscar is gaining on Mo Power. So the softs are probably a lot better at this time.
Well, this does mean that, at the very least temporarily, we might see Oscar leading the Premier race, as Oscar does overtake Mo Power.
Yeah, and Fruitful will have a bit of a problem here.
Yeah, the two McLarens, the two Alpines, not going to be happy.
He may just wait a little bit and then double stack. But
yes, yeah, they're at 2.5 seconds. They're probably a bit too close to double stack as it stands.
Yeah, but I would rather do that than stay out another lap.
Yeah, it don't. It's still. Is it still raining? I'm trying to figure it out. I don't think it is. No, it's not still raining. Still is a bit of moisture on the track, but.
And Fruitful is also in the pits, so both are in the pits.
Let's keep an eye on this. Callirob coming into the pits. DRS is enabled. There you go. That is the confirmation.
Yep.
As we see, Fruitful does lose some time behind. And as predicted, Oscar, now with the fastest lap, she's out to P1 with a lead of almost 7 seconds. But he's going to be over 10 seconds lead.
Yeah, and people are going on different tires as well. Some people are going hard, some people are going mediums.
Yes. Do we think, will the hards get to the end of the race from here?
Yeah, but I think you pit around lap 6 or 7 on the softs to the hards, and the hards usually last 2 races. But the mediums won't, so I think the medium runners are gambling on their safety car.
Yes. God, Oscar. Oscar. If only you had pitted onto the hards.
would have been 10 seconds ahead on
Unless, I mean, if we get a safety car,
yeah,
or a virtual safety car at the least, and he pits under it, he could pit onto the hards. He will have a better tyres than the rest of the grid.
And then he's extremely lucky.
He will be extremely lucky.
Never know.
You never know. But what that does mean is, yeah, as it stands, we've got Oscar in the Ferrari in P1, Bass in P2. I think he might have... Has he jumped through? Or was he always ahead of... Yeah, no, yeah. He's taken advantage because Jer was in P1 originally, but he lost time staying out an extra lap. So Jer now in P4, Adri P3, Bass P2, T-Mike P5, and the two Mercedes in 6th and 7th.
And Oscar's losing a lot of time.
He is.
He's lost 2 seconds already.
I think that, I mean, his softs will still be in a decent condition, so I think that just goes to show you the pace difference between Premier and Tier 1 at the very top.
Bass just set a 3-second better time than Oscar that lap.
Yeah.
Bass has 3 seconds.
And Fruitful is pitting again.
That's probably damage.
Is that damage? That is damage. New front wing for Fruitful. As we see Darluto. So, with the grid now on all sorts of tyres, we'll just have a look at the positional changes. So, yeah, Oscar has increased by 11 positions. Currently P1. Darluto, the other big winner as well, up 13 positions. He did start 20th and last, and he's currently P7. The big loser, currently Fruitful, down from 4th to 18th as it stands with the late pit stop and that new front wing. And as it stands, Bass on... Sorry, say that again.
I think you can call Jer a big loser as well, as maybe it may not be 14 positions, but it's maybe feels like 14 positions when you were behind Bath and Adri.
Yes, definitely. He'll be cursing not going in a lap earlier, losing those 2 positions. He is right on the back of Adri though, but Bass just eating into Oscar's lead and building a gap from Adri as well. Bass looks like he has got the race pace. Oh, as look, Jer has spun. Jer has spun and lost his front wing. He has survived, but he has lost his front wing. That is huge. And that means we've got T-Mike has been promoted to P4 on the grid. He is on the mediums. Yeah. That's throwing this all up. So Jer is going to need to pit for a new front wing. No safety car needed, interestingly.
Yeah, and Jer is now kind of blocking all the cars coming through. They have given... He should just get out of the way at this point. He's driving the line.
It is also worth thinking that these medium runners are probably not going to be able to get to the end of the race.
Oh, that's a crash again.
That's Cali Rob.
And another driver, I think it was Bronco. Yeah, Jerry's basically making incidents, but not getting out of the way. He's blocking everyone, and people are forced to go side by side.
Yes, I don't know if I don't think there's an official rule on letting people through if you've got damage.
Yeah, but and he just he sent another player into the wall.
This is looking very precarious. As cars try to overtake Jer. Jer going very aggressively into some of these corners, considering he has no front wing.
He's now Bronco's getting a 3-second penalty.
Yeah, 3 seconds as he tries to go around Jer, as Jer now pits and releases that pack behind him. But he's caused a bit of havoc.
A lot of time.
He does. So, the closest fight, we've got T-Mike currently on the back of Adri. Looks to be the closest battle on grid at the most. T-Mike showing some fantastic race pace.
Yeah, and I said earlier in the qualifying that he may be a underdog in this race then.
Especially with Adri, who had such incredible one-lap pace. You know, he was always going to have decent race pace. So T-Mike to be up there with him is a fantastic job by him. It might also be just confirmation that there is a bit of a race distance, race pace, sorry, between the medium and the hard tyres, and that might be something that is helping T-Mike. But he is probably going to need to pit again. I do not think he's going to want to see those mediums to the end.
Yeah, that would probably end up with a puncture. So that's not recommended.
No. Oh, at the very least, he's going to be very close to a spin. I mean, these tyres around here, even if they're not close to a puncture, they get to a point where you just have no rear end grip, and it is dangerous.
It is. This track doesn't have a lot of.
Oh, and T-Mike spun and loses his front wing. Ah, such a shame. Going through turn 3, just loses the rear end, as I mentioned, and that frees Adri up. It also frees Steinmine up now to hunt down for that final.
Steinmine has used up all his ERS though.
As we also see, Baz is now right on Oscar's tail. Oscar's softs will really be struggling now, really starting to go off. Baz probably, yeah.
Ideal.
Baz will really want to try and make this move as efficiently as he can. Coming through into a DRS zone now. He gets a decent exit. He's got the DRS. Will he go for the move? He goes for a bit of a lunge down the inside. Not quite close enough. Oscar does give him room.
Yeah.
As they come through now. And that does mean that Bass is probably going to need to just sit behind until the home straight.
And T-Mike. Let's see how he handles to have no front wing.
As they come through now, and Oscar is pitting now, so that does release Bass into the lead. Oscar is pitting. We'll have a look when he pits to see what tyres he's on. That moves Adri up to P2, Steinmine now into P3. Darluto will move up into P4. So the Mercedes duo having a great race so far. Oscar onto the mediums, interestingly. But yeah, I'm not sure the Ferraris have worked out their strategy. Oh, yellow flag in sector 1. Is that Doug Trio? Nope, because he is AI. It must be Oscar, maybe having an incident. T-Mike now pitting. That does also mean we've got Kelsey's up into P5, Matty player P6, Sir Capelot P7, Grack. Our early doors prediction in P8 going pretty comfortably at the moment. He's right on the back of Sir Capelot as well. Got good pace in the Red Bull. Boaz in P9, Bronco in P10.
Yeah, so Baz has a 3-second penalty and has to keep Adri off behind him with at least 3 seconds to take the win, but still early to say if that's gonna happen or not.
A lot of this race still to go.
Darluto banned has 16 positions from the start, now in P4. That's quite incredible. It makes me a bit scared for the race.
Yes, that is pretty incredible. It's yeah. It's one of those.
This kind of race, then we may see a win from in Tier 1.
Or you're nervous already, Tamba. You're
Yeah.
desperate for that crown. Maybe it's not Ankbank you need to be worrying about this week. As we see, and
I think it's always scary.
interestingly, so it's a crazy shift considering that 4 or 5 laps ago we had the McLarens in P1 and 2. They're now sitting in P14 and P16. Freefall getting a 3-second penalty as well. So
Oscar's in the pit again.
Oscar is in the pit again.
And still on the mediums.
Still on the mediums. He has a phobia of hard tyres, clearly.
Yeah. And yeah. Has Caleb always been this far behind?
Yes, he had. He did spin and he did lose a front wing, which dropped him down. Currently on board with Sir Capelot in the Williams, within the DRS of Matty player.
Yeah.
Has got the pace, has got the DRS, but not quite close enough to go for a move this time round, unfortunately. The two Williams drivers also having benefited quite a lot from the incidents in front of them, now sitting in P5 and P7.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it looks like it is. Well, I mean, the top 8 are all Aston Martin, Red Bull, Mercedes, and Williams. Interestingly.
Yeah.
And, yeah, no AlphaTauris. Such a shame.
Well, Mopao is doing a decent job, so...
Yeah, Mopao sitting in 12th. You know, long way to go. Could still retire yet.
No, the worst part is I sent a message in the Discord telling people to be kind to the AlphaTauri drivers, and well, we got a DNF. And don't know if Mopao has been in any trouble, but he isn't the highest on the grid.
No, but to be fair, he is. Though, so. Yeah, you have got 2 reserves. It is worth noting for those not aware, Tambar is an AlphaTauri driver for Tier 1, hence the want for them to do well. Yeah, I mean, this week with 2 reserves, you can never ask for too much. So I imagine any points that Mopower can bring back for the team will be greatly appreciated.
Yeah. And, well, Williams is doing good, so you must be happy.
I am, yes, as a Williams driver. I'm loving Cowses and Capelot doing well, both in the top 10. Still on board with Capelot, as he's still within a second of Matty player, but just cannot quite get close enough coming into the DRS zones to get a move done. I'm sure he will be desperate to get the move done, move behind his teammate, and try and profit together.
Oh, Mopao was really close to the back of Bronco.
Mopao is very close.
May go for a move on one of the 2 straights at the start of the lap.
Yes, keeping an eye on that interval time just to see who can get a move done.
I feel like the straight after...
Oh, that's a good exit from Mopower. Is he going to go for a move? Not this lap.
I feel like the straight coming up is the only kind of part where overtaking is like possible. Oh, we got a yellow flag. That's a...
Is that a spin? I think that was a spin for Fruitful. He has still got all of his front wings, so I don't think there's been any contact.
Yep.
But yes. I mean, it's never nice to be overtaken by an AI driver.
Yeah.
But, oh, we've got a yellow flag in Sector 3, and that is Oscar has retired.
Race, and that should be a safety car.
Is that going to be a safety car? I don't know. We've already had one.
Let's watch pass and see what happens. We get to see the footage. He just...
Sector 2 and 3. Oh, that's a safety car. Yep.
Yeah.
We had an incident. That is a Haas. Is that T-Mike? Nope, that is Bronco, I believe. Having an incident. Yeah, Bronco's had an incident in Sector 2. Has lost his front wing. I think that's what's caused the safety car. Now, this is the crucial moment. people pitting. Baz has not pitted.
Gotta
Adri and Stein have pitted. I mean, the mediums can get you to the end now. Darlut again in 5 seconds.
The
It's not what you
mediums.
want.
The mediums are. They're gonna be tough at the end of the race.
They are. But it looks like most of these guys are going for it. Some teams are going to be double stacking here. The Williams are double stacking. The Mercedes have double stacked.
Yeah, the Mercedes are doing fairly well as well. So
that is not good for some drivers. Yeah. Well, I mean, they're all jumping onto the mediums, so clearly. Well, I mean, we're going to have a few laps yet under the safety car, so we'll probably be restarting around 19 laps or so, which means you're going to be doing what, 12 laps under the mediums. That should be fairly comfortable for these guys. Now the problem is Baz has stayed out, which I'm shocked by. Maybe he was too far gone.
Why is he? Yeah, he's on the mediums as well.
He might be able to pit now though. I mean, the safety car's still out. He did stay ahead of the safety car, thankfully. Yes, he is pitting, so he should be able to stay ahead, I imagine. Yeah, under safety car, 25-second lead under safety car, should be comfortable.
Yeah.
And he is going onto the mediums as well. So, the whole grid now on fresh mediums, except for Dugtree and Bronco, who have gone into hards. I'm not sure why. To reach their own.
May take him.
Is Adri going to get ahead of Baz? He is.
Oh. And Stein?
Stein does not get it. Baz just holds on to that position. So, Adri profiting off of Baz's inability to pit the lap before.
Yeah.
Wow.
So we have a fresh start. And all are on the same tires, so penalties will have a lot to say in the closing stages of the race, I would imagine.
Yes, I'm going to jump off of the tyre screen now, as it kind of feels a bit pointless. All of these drivers on fresh mediums, so they're all in the same boat. We'll keep an eye on the penalties for now. Currently got 6 drivers with penalties on. But yeah, here with the restart, what are you thinking then, Tanvar? Any predictions for the second half of this race?
No, not really, but I will just mention that Matty Player in 6th place has done 4 stops.
That is very impressive.
Yeah.
I think he may have pitted twice under the last safety car. I think he might have been one of those that tried the slicks a little bit too early.
Well, it would have paid off if he just stayed out in the slicks.
Yes, it would have.
Oh, bad call. But still in 6th place, so still a lot to gain and a lot to lose. Oh, yeah. Do you think we will see another safety car?
I hope not, as Tier 1 race starts in 45 minutes, so...
Yeah.
Here's praying.
Oh, that's a bit of a worry.
That is a slight concern. So here's hoping we get a very clean end of the race. Maybe the front 4 all have a moment, have an incident. We see Cowses win the race. That'll be quite nice. Grack win the race. You know, considering what we mentioned at the beginning of the race in terms of thinking he might have been the first to DNF, that'd be a nice little reverse fortune.
He's in 7th place, so...
yeah, he's had a good race.
Yeah. He was the AlphaTauri driver. So...
Where does Grack race at the moment?
He is a reserve, but he's racing for Red Bull.
Is he reserve? Is he tier? Is he Premier? Is he a reserve for Premier?
Yeah, he was. AlphaTauri at the start of the season. Then he moved to Red Bull, and then he became reserve.
Ah, okay. So he's currently reserving for Premier.
Yeah, so he left us.
Gotcha.
And then became reserve.
So, yeah, I mean the other big winner then, worth noting, Darluto. He definitely is a tier 1 driver, so reserving today and currently sitting in 4th place, which I'm sure Steinmein is delighted about, seeing a reserve teammate that far up the grid with him.
Yeah. His only problem is his penalties.
Yes, especially with this safety car as well. He's going to be hoping for the grid to really spread out and that those penalties not to affect him too much.
Yeah.
We should, I imagine, see the safety car come in this lap. As the grid are all bunched up now. There we go.
Yeah.
Speaking of.
There we go. And
So we'll keep an eye on Adri.
I'll keep an eye on Jer.
Yes, if you want to keep an eye towards the back of the grid, Tambar, and feel free to give us a shout if you see anything back there.
I'll see Jer to glory.
Oh, and there's been a bit of a collision. I'm sure that's going to go to Stewards. And Adri's gone early. Adri's gone early. As he comes through, he's built up a bit of a gap. It's good timing. Baz will be fighting, but that might catch a few of these drivers out. Adri does hold on to his lead in P1, Baz in P2, Steinmein P3, Darluto P4, Kausis P5, Matty P6, Grak P7, Bowers and Capello at P8 and 9 with those penalties for the collision. Dace in P10, and it looks like there's been an overtake from Fruitful moving up into P14.
Yeah. And he'll probably overtake Doug Trio as well, as he is AI. And Jer now going for a move on Mopawa.
Looks fairly clean so far this restart. And Joe has moved up into P11. As we see the drivers starting to spread out a little bit now. So the front three already creating a 2-second gap. Calirob gets a move done on Doug Trio, or I should say the AI of Doug Trio. T-Mike getting a move done on Bronco. 2 Haas drivers at the back of the grid. Adri getting some pressure from Baz. We'll stick on board with these front 2. See if Baz is able to overtake the pace. He has already shown previously his race pace is there to challenge, if not be better than Adri.
Yeah.
So he'll be hoping he can get this move done as quickly as he can.
To be fair, Kausis is looking pretty good because he hasn't got any penalties, as well as Matty Player.
Yes, they'll be looking good. And I mean, especially with Darluto falling back a little bit from the front 3, I think Kausis will want to get this move done as quickly as he can to not lose too much time to the front pack.
Yeah.
If he gets a good exit here, this might be an opportunity. I'm sure he's probably using his ERS. He's not. He's saving it. Probably for the start. We'll keep on board with Kausis, see if he's able to get the move done.
Yep, and we'll probably wait for the DRS and then just fly past on the straight.
Here we go. He's using his ERS. No DRS yet, so cannot use that back wing. And he won't be close enough this lap, unfortunately. Which is good news for Steinmein, as it means the gap from the front 3 is extended now to almost 3.5 seconds. You can see Darluto really bunching everyone up, all the way down to Boaz, all within a second of each other. Keep an eye
all the
on.
way down to Caliber, you should say.
You could say, yeah, well, Boaz is about a second behind Capelot, so just about staying within it. As we'll keep an eye. Steinmein starting to fall back a bit now, over a second behind Baz. As Fruitful gets a move done on Mo Power, moves up to 12th position. We will be keeping an eye, though, on this second grab. Oh, a couple of 3 seconds getting added there. Darluto getting 3 seconds. And I believe that was Grak getting 3 seconds as well. But we'll keep an eye on Kausis for now. this pack behind Darluto, see if anyone can get a move done.
Gus is at the moment.
Still no DRS. That will be next lap. So we'll see if Cowsers can get a good exit coming through onto the straight here. Sector 3, or that looks like Bronco's DNF'd. Cowsers is closing. He's closing. Darluto goes to cover the inside, and Cowsers goes around the outside. That is a fantastic move on those mediums. He gets the move done. Darluto's trying to fight back through the outside of a corner that is not too wide, and there is contact there, meaning that Darluto keeps it there 3 wide. Darluto keeps the position, but not for too much longer. He's still fighting, and he will have the inside. There was a bit of contact there, and that does mean that Grack now fighting.
And
Cowsers gets 3 seconds. It's getting very scrappy now.
Oh, Grack now benefiting as well.
Grack benefiting big time. Wow, I did not see that happening. DRS has been enabled. I didn't see that notice, but the rear wings are all opening up, so clearly there's DRS enabled. There was a bit scrappy there from Darluto, I have to say. There might be a bit of bias speaking, but I think he fought just a little bit too hard, causing a bit of contact there with the Williams. And that does mean that Cowsers now picks up a time penalty.
I was on board with Cowsers for the whole time, and it looked like Darluto was making some lunches, and Grack just came from nowhere and just dived up the inside.
He did. Just said, thank you very much. I'll take this if you guys are going to fight over it. And that does.
I think Grack was the reason Cowsers got 3 seconds.
Yeah, when you try and go too wide through that third sector, you are bound to cut some corners and get some warnings.
Yeah.
It does mean that Darluto, though, keeps hold of 4th position for now, and more importantly, has extended the gap to the top 3 now to 8 seconds, as Grack does get the move done on Darluto very cleanly. I'm sure Cowsers will be looking on, hearing Grack say, "That's how you do it, mate."
Yeah.
And these penalties are gonna play dividends.
Yeah, and we got the dynamic duo of Cowsers and Caplot back together now.
We do. Williams together. You have to say now, though, especially with Bass being on 6 seconds, Steinlein being on 6 seconds, Adri is probably feeling very comfortable up in front in P1, knowing that even if he does get overtaken, he's got so much time that he can just sit behind, knowing that he's got P1 in the bag.
Yeah, and Darluto is has 11 seconds now.
Yeah, Darluto currently, as it stands, will be falling into the back of the grid with his penalties.
Yeah.
As this group is still very much bunched up. Now we'll keep an eye. Capelot very close to his teammate. Don't know if Cowsers took any damage from that incident earlier. But the two Williams sticking very close to each other. I'm sure Cowsers, he's starting to fall behind Darluto, interestingly. He's now currently outside of DRS.
He may have damage.
He may have gotten damage. It's very different to the pace that he was showing earlier, and he doesn't get DRS, which will mean that Capelot behind will have DRS and will have the pace. Will he go for an overtake on his teammate? He doesn't.
Yeah, Jer goes on days down the inside.
Yeah, Jer moving up to P10. The McLaren's trying to fight their way back through the grid. Jer doesn't have any penalties, so could very much profit from some of these guys.
Yeah. I think he has been struggling a bit to get through the field.
This is a very hard track to overtake. Capelot getting an additional 3 seconds. I have a feeling the stewards are going to have a very busy week this week.
Yeah.
A lot of incidents feel like they could be reported from some of these guys. Now, I mean, if you're Cowsers, noticing that you're struggling to stay in the DRS and noticing your teammate is right on your tail, do you let them through? That's the question.
Yeah, it's like you don't want to, because you want to finish ahead. But I feel like he has nothing to lose, to be honest, because Caplot has more penalties than him. So,
Yeah.
so
That's a
if he
good point.
lets him through, he is probably going to take back the position after the race finishes. So, but
That is a good
yeah.
point. I mean, Kaus is now down within a second again of Darluto, so he's probably thinking, as long as I've got DRS, I've got the pace to keep this position up. Be
Yeah, and
interesting.
maybe it feels like Caplot isn't close enough.
Doesn't have quite the pace there. Fruitful now overtaking Dace, and the McLaren's back together again. P2 and P3 will jump on board with Jer, who is right behind Boaz.
Oh, looks like he was going to dive down the inside there.
Yeah, I was
That
thinking
would
the
have
same
been
thing.
a ballsy move.
That would have been very ballsy. Probably the right decision not to go for it, as I don't think there would have been room for two cars going through there.
Yeah. Matty player still hanging on with no penalties as well.
Yeah, Matty player and Jer. If only they could see our screens, they would be licking their lips.
Yeah.
There's a lot of positions to profit from for these guys. As we keep an eye on Jer, but yeah, it looks like Jer and Kausis are the close two. Kausis will jump quickly on board with him. He has really caught up with Darluto the last couple of laps. He at one point was struggling to stay within the DRS. He is now only a few tenths behind, and he might be close enough to go for a move here. Not this time, but
we may see a double move.
we might see a double move. I'm sure
Oh.
Darluto can see the intervals in his corner. Darluto goes a little bit wide. Kausis is able to profit before we get to the straight. Capelot goes for the move as well. He doesn't quite get it, but he does have DRS, and he's using his ERS. But Darluto also uses his ERS, and he goes for the outside of Kausis.
Oh my god.
And he's on the inside the next corner. Capelot has to brake to block it as Kausis is able to keep the position. As Jer moves up to P9 and Fruitful moves up to P10, both of them overtaking Boaz. I'm sure both of these Williams cannot wait to see the back of this Mercedes. Darluto going a little bit wide there. Darluto seems to be fighting for his life. If you didn't know anybody, you'd think he was in this tier.
Yeah. Now, I think Capo would try a dive bomb, and he does. Oh,
oof.
That's a send.
That is a send.
Oh, still keeps it on the track.
Oh, going through. Oh, there is contact, and that is Darluto.
Yeah,
he spun through, and he has crashed into the wall. Matty player is able to profit and is able to overtake Sir Capelot.
Yeah.
Means that Capelot stays in P7 for now. Matty player now up to P6 again with no penalties. But from the Williams perspective, that pesky Mercedes is no longer with them and is out of the way.
Yeah. Luckily, it's not in this tier though, so wouldn't have much to say for Darluto.
Yes. It is. It's a tricky one. I mean, he's in the race, so he is well within his right to fight for positions, but at least for me personally, I feel like you don't quite be as aggressive in your tier as you are when you're reserving for a different tier.
Yeah.
I'm sure the stewards will have a look at some of those incidents. But regardless, we'll keep an eye. Sir Capelot still well within the
that's
DRS of Matty player. That is a front wing, just on the straight there.
Ooh.
I think that might have been Darluto's.
Oh, Jer going for it. Jesus. What was Jer thinking there?
I'm not sure.
That's Fruitful. Didn't pick up any. Ah, Fruitful is. Oh.
It's Fruitful. Oh, Fruitful is round. Oh, such a shame.
Fruitful just drove right into the wall. Like he didn't
I'm
break.
not sure what happened there. Real shame. The two McLarens have been fighting their way through the grids, doing a great job.
Fruitful used return to track, but
Oh, I'll keep. Oh, and he's cutting. Oh,
no. Oh, he's gonna get a
oh,
lot of penalty points
he is.
for this.
Steinmine is pitting. Interestingly, Fruitful getting very aggressive on the throttle. Oh, this suggests to me he might be DNFing in the pits.
Grax DNF'd.
Oh, Grax DNF'd. What has happened there?
Oh, we cursed it.
We. Oh, such a shame. Such a shame. Oh, and Fruitful is DNF'd in the pits. Oh, it's all happening with 5, and it's a safety car. Oh my god, it's carnage. It's like Abu Dhabi. We had such a calm going on in the grid, and then in the space of no time at all, everything's changed. Grack is DNF'd. Fruitful was retired in the pits after resetting to track and cutting corners. Steinmine then pitted just before the safety car came through. He is going to be so angry with himself. And all of that means Houses is up to P3. Matty Player up to P4 with no penalties. Jer Jer's up to P6. What a recovery this has been from the McLaren.
And Mopao is crucially staying in the race.
Mopao is still in the points. Currently,
some softs as well.
Yes, let's have a look at the tyres. That is a good point. Let's see if any of these guys are going to pit, as it looks like Bass is pitting. Bass is pitting. That is great. That is so crazy. We're probably only going to get maybe one lap of racing.
Well, that's probably meaning
it's a free pit stop. It is a free pit stop.
Yeah, but it's probably going to fall down the order. Because the guys will probably...
Are they going to overtake him? Has he mistimed this? Bass has mistimed this. I think he thought it was a free pit stop behind him. But he is suffering.
Oh no.
What a crazy decision there. I think he thought he had a free pit stop, and so moving on to the softs, he could come out in P2 and attack Adri for the lead. But all that means now is he's back in P7.
And Jer is now looking at the P2 finish.
Yeah, let's have a look back at the penalties. So, I mean, he's currently net P3. Well, he'll be net P3 with Adri P1, Matty Player P2, Jer P3.
Yeah.
As it stands. So, Kausis will be praying he can spread a gap. I mean, cap a lot. I mean, he did 5 of those 8 seconds were due to a contact under safety car. So, there is always a potential, depending on what happened, he might get those 5 seconds rescinded.
Yeah.
Which means that's not all over, but yeah. Wow. What is going to happen? How many races left will
we get? 2 maybe?
So after this we've got 3 laps left. After this lap, 3.5 laps left, so we might need another lap for it to bunch up, so we will have probably 2 laps of racing, I would guess.
Yeah, Bass is really in the mud here. Oh.
Yeah.
That was not the move.
That was not. I mean, to be fair to him, he had a gap of about 22 seconds. I can understand under safety car you might be thinking that's a free pit stop. But it just goes to show you this pit lane is deceptively long in Singapore. And yeah, Baz down to P7. Adri. Now, well, what do you think? If you're Adri, are you happy about this safety car? Or are you cursing it?
I feel like Adrian knows he's faster than like Kelsis and Matty Player. So I think his only concern is Jer. But I feel like Jer can't catch up in 2 laps.
Yeah. I think honestly, if we're going to be seeing the most moves we'll be seeing will be from Baz on the fresh softs in P7. We've already seen he's got some of the best pace amongst the grid today. It's just a matter of whether those 2 laps are enough for him to make a big enough dent. But yeah, I think you're right. We're unlikely to see any huge changes. We might see the odd positional change here and there. We just have to hope that it stays clean. I mean, these guys are on, what, 10, 11, 12 lap old mediums, so there's still plenty of life in their tyres. We shouldn't see any crazy losses of grip or anyone struggling through these corners.
We may just see one racing now.
We might do.
Because Darludo is not catching up to the safety car. And that's a bit crucial.
We'll have a look. Yeah, I don't think Darluto's going to catch your time. I think you are right. At this rate, we're going to have one lap of racing, which for Jer is fantastic, as that means he can profit off of 2 people in front of him. For Kausis, that is horrible news. Oh, safety car is in this lap.
Well,
wow, so we have 2 laps. Michael Massey, what are you doing?
Steinmine.
No, Michael, this is not right.
But Steinmine is at the back of the grid suddenly.
Steinmine, or is that, no, it's Darluto is at the back of the grid. Steinmine has managed to catch up.
Was Steinmine that far behind?
No, it's Darluto. Darluto's the one that still hasn't caught up. Clearly, the race director's
Steinmine is in P13. Was he P13?
I think he pitted again. Let's have a look at his tyres.
What?
Yeah, he pitted onto fresh mediums. Oh, AG gets a 5-second.
Oh.
Severe collision with Kausis?
What?
What's happened there? I mean, I'm on screen with him now.
Matty player as well with Kausis.
And Kausis did... as in budget, and Adri's gone. Adri's gone for it. We'll have to look at those penalties at the end of the race. I'm sure the stewards will have a look. But Adri is gone.
Yeah.
We're on boards with Kausis as he comes through. Bass has managed to get a move done early on Kelly. She's happening. T-Mike has spun. T-Mike's DNF'd. We're probably not going to get a safety car this late into the race, so it's probably going to be stuck at the back. But we'll keep an eye on these front guys now. Darluto is able to catch up and overtake T-Mike because of that result. Adju with the 5 seconds, he is now clear ahead. Kaus is 8/10 behind. He's got Matty player on his back. I mean, this final grid is not going to be the final grid. I'm sure there'll be all sorts of positional changes with the steward decisions.
Jer and Baz going wide together.
Jer and Baz has got the inside. Baz gets the move done. That is not good news for Jer. Jer was probably hoping he could get some moves done himself, but Baz fighting through the grid. We'll keep an eye on Baz. 2/10 behind. He's got these soft runners. And he has got the pace here. Baz gets 5 seconds for corner cutting. I'm not sure what happened there. Steinmeier gets 3 seconds. It's just like Christmas Day of penalties. What is going on? And there's a yellow flag and Darluto spins. Baz almost spins himself. Darluto is out of the race. He's towards the back of the grid, so he won't interfere with anyone. And this is so close now, as everyone's got penalties. I mean, Jer with the only one.
The winner.
As it stands, Jer is going to be our provisional winner from P6. Baz with the soft tyres, he has got so much grip. You can see the difference between himself and Caplot in front of him.
Oh, and Matty player is choked.
Matty player, and let's have a look. Baz now within a tenth of Caplot. Baz is going to go for the move here. Remember, there's not going to be any DRS for the end of the race. We're not going to have enough laps for it to be allowed. Baz cannot get the move done now. But that lack of DRS means that it's all about Baz's exit. He needs a good exit if he's able to get a move done here on Caplot coming through as we're in the final corner. He's going to go for an inside move coming into turn 4. And he does get it done. He's got the grip to hold in tight. And he keeps it going. Let's see if Caplot is able to use the slipstream behind him. He's using it now. And he's going down the outside, but he will not have the pace. And Baz is able to keep his 4th position for now. He will be fighting for 3rd. We'll stay on board with Baz. This has been quite the recovery from Baz. Could this be a good decision? We were both having a go at him, saying what a terrible decision he had made moving on to soft tyres, but this is looking very fruitful. I mean, if you're Matty player and you're smart about this, you are letting your teammate go.
Yeah,
and he does.
Anyway.
He does let his teammate go. I don't know if you meant that on purpose, but we'll assume he did and say that is fantastic team play from Matty player. Letting Baz hunt down Kausis with these soft tyres. Will it be too little, too late? There is one sector to go. It is the best sector for tyres, though, with these tight corners. Baz is gaining. It's a 10th per corner.
Jer is falling out of the 5 seconds.
Jer is falling outside.
Then Adri win.
Oh, let's have a look. It is going to be all down to these final few corners. Whoever's good at mental maths probably already knows this. As we come through, and Adri takes the provisional victory. Kaus is provisionally second. Baz provisionally third. Baz spins on P4. Jeremy's up to second. Oh my god.
I think we need a recap on that.
We do. Who was that that spun at the end? Was that Matty player that spun at the end? Matty player takes driver of the day. Oh my word. I have no idea
And it's
what happened there. But
drama in the Liverpool game as well.
all sorts of drama going on, but your provisional victor is Adri. I mean, he's a very much deserved victor. I'd give my driver of the day to Adri. From start to finish, he's been brilliant. Who's your driver of the day, Tambar?
I think it's gotta be Adri. Come on,
Yeah, it's got to be Adri. He's been fantastic today.
Yes.
Wow. I mean, we'll have a quick look at the...
I'm not sure who finished where, so I'm not sure who was...
Let's have a look. We'll quickly run through the grid, and then we'll need to dash, as the Tier 1 live stream will be starting fairly soon, I'm sure, so we'll let those commentators take the...
take the scene. Minutes. Oh.
Yes, exactly. I'll quickly get the incident list, which will take me probably 15 minutes to scroll to the bottom, as there have been so many. Tambar, if you want to take us through the grid then for the final provisional finish.
Yeah, so we got Adri on pole, ahead of Jer, making a huge comeback into P2 here. Then we got Calirob rounding out the podium. We got Calcis P4, Boas P5, Matty Player P6, Dace P7, Sir Capelot P8, Bass ending up in P9 after a great comeback on the softs. Mo Power, crucially, in P10. What a race from Mo Power.
Yeah, and then...
Steinmine, 11th, Third Trio, 12th, Darludo, 13th, and T-Mike, P14, and then everyone else DNF.
Yes. So that's Grack 15, Fruitful 16, Bronco 17, Oscar 18, Rusty 19, Wyatt 20th. Well, what a race. Any final words, Tambar, before we leave these lovely people for Tier 1?
Let's hope that's not the Tier 1 race.
I couldn't have said it better myself. Thank you very much for watching. My name's been Cheryl Shaft. That has been Tambar. Hopefully we'll see you again very soon. Goodbye.
Yep.